Hello everybody. Here I am Manasi Ganu and today we are going to start a new lesson for 11th. That topic is 1.5 Mrs. Addis. So let's see on page number 43. Here we can see the icebreakers. Now see on page number 43. Icebreakers. First activity. Share your opinions or feelings with your partner about a stranger who has a villainous look or appearance. Sometimes while reading people, we think that this person has a very villainous look. This person seems very friendly, or this person seems very quiet or cool person. This person is very nice person. But when we meet a strange person, a stranger whom we don't know, and he looks like a villain, he looks like a very shrewd person, he looks like a very cunning person, then how we feel? You may write the answers that I feel very fearful, I feel that he is not friendly, I feel very insecure, I feel very suspicious about that person, I feel very hateful, or I feel hatred about that person. So you can write according to your feelings. Here is the picture of the writer Sheila K. Smith. Now let's turn the page. See on next page, page number 44. There is an introduction of the writer. The name of the writer is Sheila K. Smith. She was an English novelist and poet. Many of her novels were set in the borderlands of Sussex and Kent in the English regional tradition. Her book, The End of the House of Allard, became a bestseller. Sheila K. Smith, she was an English novelist and she was an English poet. She was very famous during her days for her writing regarding the regional topic. Her stories were related with Sussex and Kent area, which is the area of England, and the background of this is that she was born and brought up in that area. She had her childhood memories from this area, this region, and so she was writing about that in her books. Her book, The End of the House of Allard, became the bestseller. It was very popular among her days. The story is about a peasant woman who finds a desperate young man at her doorstep, pleading on her to give him protection from the police. He had been poaching on the nearby estate and in panic had killed one of the gamekeepers. Here in this lesson, we are learning about a story of a peasant woman. She is a very hardworking lady, and she finds that she saw that there is one young man who is actually her son's friend. He is at her doorstep and he is requesting her to give her protection from the police. While he was illegally fishing, while he was hunting illegally in that area, in the nearby estate, suddenly, wrongly, he had killed one of the gamekeepers, and because of that, police is in search of him, and he is requesting that that young man is requesting to protect him from the police. So let's continue the story. See on page number 44, Mrs. Addis. See, this is the map of England. At the bottom you can see the Sussex and nearby it Kent. These are related with the story. So let's begin the story. Mrs. Addis. In northeast Sussex, a great tongue of land runs into Kent. It is a land of woods, the old hammer woods of the Sussex iron industry, and among the woods gleamed the hammer ponds. So, this story begins at the northeast Sussex, which is very near to Kent. This part was this part was going near to the Kent. This was the second region. This area was known as land of woods. This area was known for its woods, means forest, as in previous days it was known as hammerwood. See what is the meaning of hammerwood in that margin. Hammerwood means wood or forest described as hammer because in the past iron used to be made using timber and water. In previous days, in the past, iron was prepared, iron was made with using wood and water. So this wood, this forest was known as hammerwood. It was very famous iron industry, and in that forest there were some hammer ponds, there were also some ponds. This area was very beautiful with greenery. This wood was used for preparing iron. So this was iron industry. Among that green woods, among that green forest, there were some ponds, there were some lakes, and they were shining, they were dazzling with water, and this was very beautiful sight. Owing to the thickness of the woods, the road that passes Mrs. Addis's cottage is dark long before the fields beyond. In the background of that thick woods, there was a road which was going near to Mrs. Addis's cottage. It was away from the field, but it was surrounded by the woods all over. That night, there was no twilight and no moon, only a few pricks of fire in the black sky above the trees. On that day, on that night, it may be no moon's day, and so there was no twilight, there was no light after sunset, there was no soft light after sunset. There were only few pricks of fire, there were only few stars. They were shining in that black sky, but there was no light. But what the darkness hid, the silence revealed. This is very nice line from this lesson. Though everything was covered by the darkness, nobody could hid anything in that silence. There was serene silence in that woods, in that forest, and so though there was a darkness, there was darkness all over the field, all over that forest, still every sigh, every minute voice can be revealed, every small action can be revealed. In the absolute stillness of the night, windless and clear, every sound was distinct, intensified. As the night was very calm, quiet, it was actually a forest, and so there was no traffic, there was no sound of any other thing. Even at the time, there was no wind. Every sound was distinct, it was clear, and as there was no sound, it was intensified. Everybody can hear that small voice or small sound, every small sound. The distant bark of a dog at Delmonden sounded close at hand, and the man who walked on the road could hear the echo of his own footsteps following him like a nail. So, when at Delmonden, near this is the name of the village, when the dog was barking at the far away place. It was barking at Delmonden. Still, it could be heard here. It seemed that it is very close at hand, and the man who was walking on that road could clearly hear the echo of his footsteps. He could easily hear the sound of his footsteps, and when he was walking, he felt that sound is like a nail. That sound is like the डेथ बेल. आपण आधी इंट्रोडक्शन बघितलं ह्या लेखिकेचं. शीला के स्मिथ ह्या इंग्लिश नॉव्हेलिस्ट म्हणजे कादंबरीकार आणि कवयित्री आहेत, आणि त्यांच्या बहुतेक कथांमध्ये, कादंबऱ्यांमध्ये ससेक्स आणि केंट हा जो इंग्लंडचा प्रादेशिक भाग आहे त्याच्याबद्दलच्या कहाण्या आहेत, त्याच्या बॉर्डरबद्दलच्या, त्या प्रदेशाबद्दलच्या कहाण्या, त्या प्रदेशाबद्दलची पार्श्वभूमी त्यांच्या बहुतेक कादंबऱ्यांना आहे. त्यांच्या ह्या कथेमध्ये, मिसेस ॲडिस ह्या कथेमध्ये सुद्धा ती पार्श्वभूमी आपल्याला दिसते. ही कथा एका गरीब अशा स्त्रीची आहे, मजूर असलेली आहे स्त्रीची आहे, आणि तिला अतिशय तिच्या दारामध्ये एक तरुण माणूस येतो आणि तो तिला विनंती करतो की त्याने पोलिसांपासून त्या स्त्रीने ह्या तरुण मुलाला वाचवावं. घाई गडबडीमध्ये इल्लिगली, अनैतिकरित्या शिकार करत असताना, फिशिंग करत असताना त्याने कुणाला तरी मारलं आहे, आणि याच्यामुळे पोलिसांपासून त्याने संरक्षण करावं, त्याचं संरक्षण केलं जावं अशी तो रिक्वेस्ट त्या स्त्रीला करतो. आता आपण कथेकडे वळूयात. मिसेस ॲडिस नॉर्थ ईस्ट ससेक्स ह्या प्रांतातली ही गोष्ट आहे, जिथे हा भाग केंटला जाऊन मिळतो. केंट ह्या दुसऱ्या भौगोलिक भागाला जाऊन मिळतो, तिथली ही कथा आहे. हा भाग प्रचंड झाडीसाठी, प्रचंड जंगलासाठी प्रसिद्ध आहे, आणि पूर्वीच्या काळचा हॅमरवूड अशा नावाने हा प्रांत विख्यात आहे. हॅमरवूड म्हणजे पूर्वीच्या काळी हॅमर करण्यासाठी, म्हणजेच आयन तयार करण्यासाठी, हॅमर म्हणजे हातोडा, आयन तयार करण्यासाठी, लोखंड तयार करण्यासाठी लाकडाचा वापर केला जायचा, आणि याच्यासाठीच हा प्रांत विख्यात होता. प्रचंड भरपूर झाडीसाठी हा भाग विख्यात होता, आणि हिरव्यागार झाडांच्या जंगलाच्या पार्श्वभूमीवरती अशी अनेक तळी, यामुळे सुरेख चकाकणारी तळी, यांच्यासाठी हा भाग प्रसिद्ध होता. याच जंगलामध्ये एक छोटासा रस्ता, एक छोटीशी पायवाट मिसेस ॲडिस यांच्या कॉटेजकडे जाते, आणि फील्डपासून, शेतांपासून हा भाग थोडासा लांबवरच आहे. त्या रात्री अजिबातच उजेड नव्हता. त्या रात्री अंधार पडल्यानंतर जो थोडासा अंधूक असा उजेड असतो, तो ट्विलाईट म्हणजे संध्याकाळचा जो प्रकाश असतो तो अजिबातच नव्हता. त्या रात्री चंद्रही नव्हता. फक्त आकाशामध्ये, काळ्याशार आकाशामध्ये थोड्याशाच चांदण्या चमकत होत्या. पण अंधारामध्ये ज्या गोष्टी दडवल्या जातात त्या गोष्टी शांततेत काही दडवल्या जात नाहीत. अत्यंत निबिड अशा त्या अरण्यामध्ये अतिशय शांतता होती, अंधार होता, पण तरीही एखादा छोटासाही आवाज टिपला जात होता. आणि त्या शांत अशा रात्री, वाराही ज्या रात्री नव्हता, सगळं अगदी शांत असं होतं, तेव्हा अगदी छोटासासुद्धा आवाज तीक्ष्ण मोठा होत होता, स्पष्टपणे कळत होता. लांबवर असलेल्या डेल्मोंडन नावाच्या गावामध्ये भुंकलेला कुत्रासुद्धा अगदी जवळ असावा इतका तो आवाज जवळपर्यंत येत होता, इतका तो आवाज स्पष्ट ऐकू येत होता. आणि ह्याच सगळ्याच्या पार्श्वभूमीवरती एक माणूस त्या रोडवरून, त्या रस्त्यावरून चालत होता, झपाझप पावलं उचलत होता, पण त्याला आपल्याच पावलांचा आवाज हा एखाद्या मृत्यूघंटेसारखा वाटत होता. आता असा त्याला तो मृत्यूघंटेसारखा आवाज का वाटत होता? तो माणूस इतका घाबरला का होता? अगदी आपल्याच पावलांचा आवाज इतका भीतीदायक त्याला का वाटत होता? ते आपण पुढच्या पॅरेग्राफमध्ये जाणून घेऊयात. सो लेट्स सी second paragraph. Let's start second paragraph. Every now and then he made an effort to go more quietly, but the roadside was a mass of thorns, and their crackling and rustling were nearly as loud as the thud of his feet on the road. As he was trying his best to go quietly, to make no noise, still, as it was the area of the forest or jungle, on the roadside there were thorns, there were some leaves, there were some dried leaves, and so because of all these things there were shrubs, and because of all these things, that rustling and crackling, all that was making a lot of noise, which was going on because he was walking. Besides, they made him go slow, and he had no time for that. Because of that thorns and because of that shrubs which were growing wildly, this all was controlling his speed. He was unable to go fast, he was unable to walk fastly, but he couldn't control himself because he had no time to be slow. He had to move quickly, he had to be fast and be quick. आता तो त्याच्यापर्यंत प्रयत्न करत होता की जेवढ्या शांतपणे आपल्याला चालता येईल, जेवढा कमी आवाज करत आपल्याला चालता येईल तेवढं चांगलं. आपला मागोवा कोणी घेऊ नये यासाठी तो हळूहळू चालायचा, कमी आवाज करत चालायचा तो प्रयत्न करत होता. पण तरीसुद्धा त्या रस्त्यावरती, तो जंगलातला रस्ता होता आणि त्याच्यामुळेच त्या जंगलातल्या रस्त्यांवरती काटे होते, झुडपं होती, वाटेल तशी वाढलेली झाडं होती आणि पानगळ झालेल्या पानं होती. आणि ह्या पालापाचोळ्यामध्ये, ह्या काट्याकुट्यांमध्ये त्याचं चालणं जरी त्याने कितीही कंट्रोल केलं तरी त्याच्या हळू चालला तरीसुद्धा त्याच्या पावलांचा आवाज मोठा होत होता. आणि असंही त्याच्याकडे वेळच खूप कमी होता. त्याला हळू जाण्यासाठी, त्याच्याकडे सावकाश जाण्यासाठी त्याच्याकडे वेळच नव्हता. आणि म्हणूनच कितीही जरी त्याला ह्या सगळ्यामुळे गती फार ठेवता येत नसली, ह्या काट्याकुट्यांच्या वेलींच्या रस्त्यांवरून त्याला खूप गतीने धावता येत नसलं, चालता येत नसलं, तरीसुद्धा हा जास्त वेळ घालवणंही त्याला परवडण्यासारखं नव्हतं, त्याला जमण्यासारखं नव्हतं. लेट्स कंटिन्यू नेक्स्ट पॅरेग्राफ. When he came to Mrs. Addis's cottage, he paused a moment. Only a small patch of grass lay between it and the road, and he looked in at the lighted, uncurtained window. When he came near to Mrs. Addis's cottage, he paused a moment. He stopped for a moment, and he saw that there was only a small patch of grass which was laid between the cottage and the road. Now he looked at the uncurtained window. There was somebody in the house. The house was lighted, and he could see through the window because it was uncurtained. He could see Mrs. Addis stooping over the fire, taking some pot or kettle of it. As he was on the road, he was watching towards the window. He was watching from that uncurtained window. He could see that Mrs. Addis, she was bending over the fire. She was doing something in her kitchen. She may be taking some pot, or she may be putting kettle off from the fire. She was working in the kitchen. He hesitated and seemed to wonder. Now he was thinking of something, and he wondered at his thought. He was a big, heavy working man, not successful, judging by the poverty of his appearance. He was a person. This is the description of this person. He was a big, heavy working person working man. He was not successful at all. He was a poor man and he was always judged because of all these things. And so he was wondering about what to do. For a moment, he made as if he would open the window. Then he changed his mind and went to the door instead. First of all, suddenly, for a moment, he thought that it is better to open the window and enter from the window to the house. But suddenly, he changed his mind, he changed his decision, and he decided that he would go through the door. आता हा जो माणूस झपाझप चालत निघाला होता, कुठलाही आवाज न होऊ नये ह्याची तो दक्षता घेत होता. ह्या माणसाने मिसेस ॲडिसच्या कॉटेजकडे बघितलं. मिसेस ॲडिस यांचं कॉटेज त्या रस्त्यामध्येच होतं, त्या जंगलातल्या रस्त्यावरती होतं. एका बाजूला घनदाट जंगल आणि एका बाजूला जरा पुढे गेल्यानंतर शेती. अशा भागामध्ये मिसेस ॲडिस यांचं कॉटेज त्या जंगलामध्येच होतं. आणि तिथे गेल्यानंतर तो एक क्षणभर थबकला. तिथे त्याने काय पाहिलं तर त्यांच्या घराच्या आणि त्या रोडच्यामध्ये थोडासाच असा गवताचा भाग होता. त्याने तिथून आतमध्ये पाहिलं, त्याला घरामधल्या गोष्टी दिसत होत्या. घर प्रकाशमान होतं, त्या घरामध्ये कोणीतरी होतं आणि त्या पडदा न लावलेल्या खिडकीतून त्याला आत घरात काय चाललं आहे हे दिसू शकत होतं. त्याला तिथून दिसत होतं की मिसेस ॲडिस त्या घरामध्ये चुली शेजारी, फायर शेजारी, आगी शेजारी काहीतरी करत होत्या. त्या वाकून काम करत होत्या. कदाचित त्यांनी एखादं भांडं चुलीवर ठेवलेलं असावं किंवा एखादी किटली त्यांनी चहाची उतरवलेली असावी असा त्याने अंदाज केला. आता त्याने काहीतरी ठरवलं होतं, पण ते करावं की न करावं हे त्याला कळत नव्हतं. आता इथे त्या माणसाचं वर्णन आहे. तो माणूस कसा होता तर खूप धष्टपुष्ट, मोठा, धिप्पाड असा माणूस होता. कष्टकरी माणूस होता. तो अजिबात यशस्वी वगैरे असा माणूस नव्हता. कायम दरिद्रीने गांजलेला आणि त्याच्यामुळे तो दारिद्र्य माणसासारखाच त्याचा दरवेळेला त्याच्यामुळेच त्याच्यावरती आरोप केले जायचे. त्याच्या दारिद्र्यामुळे त्याच्यावरती नेहमीच आरोप केले जायचे असा तो माणूस होता. आता क्षणभर त्याला असा विचार आला त्याच्या मनामध्ये की आपण ह्या उघड्या असलेल्या खिडकीतून आत शिरावं. पण नंतर त्याने स्वतःचं मन बदललं, स्वतःचं मन वळवलं आणि त्याने असं ठरवलं की याच्याऐवजी आपण दारातूनच आत शिरूयात. नाव लेट्स सी ऑन पेज नंबर 45. हे डिडंट नॉक, जस्ट वॉक स्ट्रेट इन. Now he decided that he would enter into the cottage. He entered through the door, but he didn't knock. He didn't alerted that lady. He straightly he walked into that cottage. The woman at the fire turned quickly round. The woman who was working near the fire, she turned quickly. She heard sound, or she understood that there is somebody in the cottage, so she turned immediately. "What? You? Peter Crouch?" she said. "I didn't hear you knock." Suddenly she recognized the person. She suddenly asked him that, "I didn't hear you knock. I didn't realize when you knocked at the door." "I didn't knock, ma'am. I didn't want anybody to hear." He confessed that he stated that he didn't knock because he didn't want anybody to hear even that sound. "How's that?" She wanted to know about what was the matter actually, why he didn't want anybody to hear, and who was there to listen even that minute sound. "I'm in trouble." His hands were shaking a little. "What have you done?" "I shot a man, Mrs. Addis." "You?" "Yes, I shot him." "You killed him?" "I don't know." As he was there in front of Mrs. Addis, she was curious to know about what happened why he was actually hiding even a small voice, why was he in the cottage. She wanted to know about all these things. At that time, he said that Peter Crouch, he said that he was actually in trouble. He was actually facing a problem. While talking about all these things, he was feeling fearful. He was still horrified. He was actually fearful, and so his hands were shaking a little. She asked, "Why you are fearful? What have you done actually?" He explained that he told her that he had shot a person. He had used a gun, and with that, he had shot a person. She didn't believe him, and so it was a crime, and so she asked him, "How and why?" Still, he said that yes, he had shot that person. She was curious to know to whom he had killed, but that Peter Crouch, he didn't know anything. He didn't know about that name of that person. He mentioned that he didn't know the name of that person. He didn't know anything about it much. आता जेव्हा पीटर क्राउच जेव्हा हा व्यक्ती जाऊन कॉटेजमध्ये त्याला जायचं ठरवलं, आणि कॉटेजमध्ये जाताना कुठून कॉटेजमध्ये त्या शिरावं, त्या घरामध्ये कसं शिरावं ह्यासाठी त्याने विचार केला. त्याने आधी असा विचार केला होता की खिडकीतूनच आत शिरावं, पण तरीही त्याने आपलं मन बदललं आणि त्याने दारातून आत शिरायचं ठरवलं. पण तरीही त्याने नॉक केलं नाही. त्याने दरवाजावरती त्याने त्या दारावरती टकटक केली नाही. त्याने त्या स्त्रीला अलर्ट केलं नाही की मी कुणीतरी तुमच्या घरात येतं आहे. तसाच तो बेधडकपणे त्या घरामध्ये शिरला. आता ती स्त्री त्या थोड्याशाही चाहुलीने ती दचकली. तिने पटकन वळून मागे पाहिलं. ती स्त्री अजून स्वयंपाकघरातच होती, त्या चुलीपाशीच होती. तिने दचकून मागे पाहिलं. तिने पाहिलं आणि तिने त्या व्यक्तीला ओळखलं. ती म्हणाली की काय पीटर क्राउच, तू इथे आत्ता? आणि मी तू जर टकटक केली असलीस तर मी तर ती ऐकली नाही. आता यावरती पीटर क्राउच म्हणाला की मी नॉक केलंच नाही मॅडम, आणि मला नॉक का करता आलं नाही त्याचं त्याने जस्टिफिकेशन दिलं. त्याने सांगितलं की कुणीतरी हा नॉकिंगचा आवाज ऐकू नये, कुणीतरी ऐकू नये यासाठी मी नॉक केलं नाही. आता याच्याबद्दल प्रश्न पडला त्या मिसेस ॲडिसना, आणि म्हणून त्यांनी विचारलं की असं का बरं. तेव्हा पीटर क्राउचने सांगितलं की मी संकटात आहे. हे सांगतानासुद्धा त्याचे हात थरथरत होते. आता ह्याच्यावरती प्रश्न विचारला गेला की काय झालं, तुझ्याकडून काय झालं आहे, तू काय केलं आहेस. तेव्हा मिसेस ॲडिसना पीटर क्राउचने स्पष्टपणे सांगून टाकलं की त्याने एका माणसावरती गोळी झाडली. आता मिसेस ॲडिसचा ह्याच्यावरती विश्वासच बसेना. माणसावरती गोळी झाडणं हा गुन्हा होतो, आणि म्हणूनच अशी चूक त्याने कशी केली. आता ह्याच्यापुढे काय असा त्यांना प्रश्न पडला. तर त्याने पुन्हा सांगून टाकलं की हो, मीच गोळी झाडली त्याच्यावरती. आता कोणावरती नेमकी गोळी झाडली गेली आहे असा प्रश्न मिसेस ॲडिसनाही पडला. त्या म्हणाल्या, तू कोणाला मारलेस, तू त्याला मारलेस का. आता याच्यावरती मिसेस ॲडिसना पीटर क्राउचने सांगितलं की मला माहिती नाही आहे, माझ्यामुळे तो माणूस मेला आहे की नाही, आणि कोण मेला आहे किंवा कोणावर मी गोळी झाडली आहे याबाबत मला काहीच सांगता येणार नाही. फॉर अ मोमेंट देअर वॉज सायलेन्स इन द स्मॉल स्टफी किचन. देन द केटल बॉइल्ड ओव्हर अँड मिसेस ॲडिस मेकॅनिकली पुट इट ॲट द साईड ऑफ द फायर. फॉर अ मोमेंट मिसेस ॲडिस didn't understand what to say or how to react. So there was a silence, there was a quiet in the small and poorly ventilated kitchen. But as fire was working, the kettle boiled over, and automatically, mechanically, after observing it, Mrs. Addis put it at the side of the fire, put it down. आता क्षणभर काय बोलायचं हे दोघांनाही सुचेना. त्या छोट्याशा पुअरली व्हेंटिलेशन असलेल्या, फारसं हवेला किंवा उजेडाला यायला जागा नसलेल्या त्या स्वयंपाकघरामध्ये शांतता पसरली. या माणसाने, आपल्यासमोरच्या माणसाने कुणाला तरी गोळी झाडली आहे आणि ह्याच्याबद्दल आता काय करावं असा प्रश्न पडला मिसेस ॲडिसना. मिसेस ॲडिसना कळत होतं की तो माणूस आपल्यासमोरचा किती मोठ्या संकटात पडला आहे. त्यामुळे त्यांना काहीच सुचेना, काहीच त्यांना बोलता येईना. पण त्यामुळे तिथे शांतता पसरली. पण तरीही स्वयंपाकघरात त्या मघाशीपासूनच काम करत होत्या. विस्तवावर ठेवलेली ती किटली, तिच्यातून द्रवपदार्थ बाहेर पडू लागले, ती उकळू लागली आणि मेकॅनिकली, अगदी यांत्रिकपणे मिसेस ॲडिसनी ती किटली आगीपासून बाहेर ठेवली, लांब ठेवली. शी वॉज अ स्मॉल थिन वुमन विथ अ ब्राऊन हार्ड फेस ऑन विच the skin had dried in innumerable small hair-like wrinkles. She was probably not more than 42, but life treats some women hard in the agriculture districts of Sussex. And Mrs. Addis' life had been harder than most. Now this is the description of Mrs. Addis. She was a short, thin woman. She was not fat. Small is opposite word of tall, or this is synonym to short. So she was a short woman. She was not tall or heighted person. She was thin. This word is synonym to skinny, or this is opposite word to fat. So she was a small and skinny person. She was short and skinny woman. She had a brown and hard face on which the skin had dried in innumerable small hair-like wrinkles. She was very hard-working person. She was brown because of the tanned skin, because of regular work in sun or nature. She had hard face because of the regular work, and her skin had dried in uncountable hair-like wrinkles. She was unable to take care of her skin. She was facing poverty. She was facing very bad problems because of her poverty, and so she had to face many problems, and so there were many wrinkles on her skin. She was probably not more than 42. Her age was not more than 42. Still, because of that life, because of that tremendous tough life, she was facing hard life because her agriculture work, and so as many women in that district, as many women from that Sussex part are facing this life, she was also facing the same type of life or more difficult life than others. आता इथे हे सगळं जे पॅरेग्राफमध्ये वर्णन केलं आहे हे मिसेस ॲडिस यांचं वर्णन आहे. त्या कशा होत्या तर बुटक्या ठेंगू अशा त्या होत्या, सडपातळ, अगदी हडकलेल्याच अशा त्या होत्या, अगदी बारीक अशा त्या होत्या. कायमच उन्हातानातून काम केल्यामुळे त्यांचा चेहरा तपकिरी रंगाचा दिसत होता. भरपूर उन्हातानातून काम केल्यामुळे तो टॅन झालेला होता, हार्ड होता, अगदी नाजूक चेहरा स्त्रीसारखा राहिला नव्हता तो. तसंच त्यांच्या चेहऱ्यावरती अगदी न मोजता येतील असे केसासारख्या सुरकुत्या होत्या आणि भरपूर कष्ट केल्यामुळे, भरपूर काम केल्यामुळे त्यांचा चेहरा हा असा वृद्ध स्त्रीसारखा दिसत होता. त्या 42 वर्षापेक्षा खूप मोठ्या नव्हत्या, 42 वर्षापेक्षा मोठ्या त्या नव्हत्या, पण तरीही ससेक्स हा जो एक शेतीचा संबंधित असा भाग आहे, शेतीसाठीचा प्रसिद्ध असलेला जो प्रांत आहे, तिथल्या स्त्रियांना भरपूर काम करावं लागतं आणि त्यामुळे त्या स्त्रियांना अशाच प्रकारचं लाईफस्टाईल जगावं लागतं, अशाच प्रकारचं जीवनमान त्यांचं असतं. त्याच्यापेक्षासुद्धा खडतर असा मिसेस ॲडिस यांचा प्रवास होता. त्याच्यापेक्षासुद्धा त्यांचं आयुष्य खडतर होतं आणि त्यामुळे त्या 42 वर्षाच्या असूनही अतिशय गरीब अशी ती स्त्री वृद्धावस्थेकडे झुकलेली दिसत होती. खूप काबाड कष्ट केलेले त्यांच्या चेहऱ्यावरूनच दिसत होते. "What do you want me to do for you, Peter Crouch?" she said a little sorely. "Let me stay here a bit. Is there nowhere you can put me till they have gone?" "Who is they?" "The keepers." Now she wanted to know that how she can help Peter Crouch in this difficult situation. But actually she was not pleased with this facing that situation. She was not happy to help him. She was actually not feeling very comfortable. She was not pleased with this situation, and so unwillingly she was just asking him that how she can protect him, how she can help him. So he answered. His answer was that he just wanted that she may allow him to stay at that cottage for a few hours. When they are away from that place, he will leave. He actually wanted some place to hide from that people who were searching him. Now there was a question from Mrs. Addis, "Who's they?" And answer was the keepers. The keepers were searching Peter Crouch because he had shot a person, and so keepers were searching him. "Oh, you have a quarrel with the keepers, have you?" Now she asked him, did he had a quarrel with the keepers, with the people who are protector of that forest? "Yes, I was down at Cinderwood, seeing if I would pick up anything, and the keepers found me. There were 4 to 1, so I used my gun." Peter Crouch, he said that when he was in the Cinderwood, when he was in that wood, this is the name of that jungle or that forest or area, when he was in the Cinderwood, he was watching if he could pick up something, he could hunt something, but at that time the keepers found him, and the keepers were 4, and Peter Crouch was all alone, and so for his safety he used his gun. "Then I ran for it. They are after me. They can't be far off." So he said that for security, for my protection, I have used my gun. I had shot someone, but I had used my gun in my protection, and so after shooting a person, I ran away from that place, and that all others are after me. They are chasing me, and they may be very near from this place. Mrs. Addis didn't speak for a moment. Crouch looked at her beseechingly. Mrs. Addis, she didn't speak for some time, and Peter Crouch was watching if she feels some pity, if she feels some sympathy for him. He was just watching at her appealingly. If she will help him, this will be very beneficial for him. This will life saving for him. आता पीटर क्राउच ने हे जे कृत्य केलं होतं, त्याने एका माणसाला मारलं होतं, याच्याबद्दल कळल्यानंतर अतिशय थंडपणे, अजिबात न उत्साह दाखवता किंवा कसं तरी करून काहीतरी करावं लागतं आहे यासाठी त्यांनी थंडपणे पीटर क्राउचला विचारलं की आता याच्याबद्दल मी काय करावं अशी तुझी अपेक्षा आहे. खरं तर त्या मदत करायला उत्सुक दिसत नव्हत्या. अगदी सोअरली म्हणजे अनप्लीज्ड अशा अवस्थेमध्ये त्यांना खरं तर त्याला मदत करावीशी वाटत नव्हती. पण तरीही या अवस्थेमध्ये आपण कशी मदत करता येईल हा प्रश्न त्यांनी त्याला विचारला. आता त्याच्यावरती पीटर क्राउचने असं त्यानं उत्तर दिलं की मला इथे थोडा वेळ थांबू द्या. इथे एखादी जागा नाही का जिथे तुम्ही मला लपवून ठेवू शकाल ते जाईपर्यंत. आता याच्यावरती मिसेस ॲडिस यांचा प्रश्न होता की कोण ते, कोणापासून तुला मी लपवू. याच्यावरती त्याने उत्तर दिलं कीपर्सपासून तुम्ही मला लपवा. आता याच्यावरती मिसेस ॲडिसने त्याला विचारलं की तुझं कीपर्सबरोबर भांडण झालं आहे का. या जंगलामधले जे कीपर्स आहेत, जे संरक्षण करतात ह्या जंगलातल्या मालमत्तेचं, त्यांच्यापासून तुझं मी संरक्षण करू का. त्यांनी तुझ्याशी भांडण केलं का, तू त्यांच्याशी भांडलास का. आता याच्याबद्दल तो सगळी ते गोष्ट सांगत सुटला. तो ते सगळ्या गोष्टी सांगत होता. तो म्हणाला मी सिंडरवूड ह्या भागामध्ये होतो आणि तिथे मला काही मिळतं आहे का, तिथे मला काही शिकार करता येते का याचा शोध घेत होतो. तेव्हा कीपर्सनी मला शोधलं, मला पकडलं, मला त्यांनी पाहिलं. ते 4 जण होते आणि मी एकटाच होतो आणि म्हणून माझ्या संरक्षणासाठी मी गन वापरली, मी बंदुकीचा वापर केला आणि तिथून पळून गेलो आणि आता ते सगळे माझ्या पाठोपाठ येत आहेत, ते माझा पाठलाग करत आहेत आणि ते जवळच असतील, ते काही खूप लांब असणार नाहीत. आणि या सगळ्या गोष्टीमुळेच तो अतिशय जपून सगळा आवाज लपवत सगळीकडून सावकाशपणे विचार करत तो पळत जाण्याचा प्रयत्न करत होता. आणि तो म्हणाला की इथे मला लपवण्यासाठी तुमच्याकडे काही जागा आहे का, त्यांच्यापासून तुम्ही मला संरक्षण देऊ शकाल का. मिसेस ॲडिस आधी काही बोलल्या नाहीत. क्षणभर त्या शांत राहिल्या आणि मग हे सगळं चालू असताना क्राउच त्यांच्याकडे अगदी दयनीय अशा अवस्थेत पाहत होता. त्या काहीतरी आपल्या मदत करतील आणि मग आपल्याला त्याच्यामुळे मदत होईल अशा नजरेने, करुण नजरेने तो त्यांच्याकडे पाहत होता. So this is the first part of Mrs. Addis. We will see what happened next in our next video. We will see if Mrs. Addis will help Peter Crouch and how she will help him, or if she will help the keepers to find out Peter Crouch. So let's see what happens next in our next video. Keep watching my channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.